Welcome to Miseryland. Well, we say welcome, but there really isn't very much to welcome you about it. It's the most miserable place on Earth. Miseryland worms look like this. And when the birds wake up in the morning in Miseryland, they don't burst into song, they burst into tears. It really is an awful place. And the king of Miseryland is even worse. He sits on his throne all day long with tears streaming down his face. Oh, I'm so unhappy. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Little Miss Sunshine had been on holiday. She was singing happily to herself as she drove along. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a signpost. To Miseryland.
Miseryland? I never heard of that place before. I'll go there for lunch.
And she drove off down the lane marked Miseryland. After a while, she came to another, much larger sign, which read, No smiling, no laughing, no chuckling. Giggling is strictly forbidden by order of the king.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
She came to the door of the castle. A soldier held up his hand and stopped her. What do you want here? He asked gloomily.
I want to see the king,
Said Little Miss Sunshine. And suddenly, she gave him a big smile. You're under arrest, said the soldier.
What for? Why am I under arrest? I've only just arrived in Miseryland.
You're under arrest for a most serious crime. Most serious indeed. Come with me at once. The soldier marched Little Miss Sunshine through the huge door and across a courtyard and through another huge door and up an enormous staircase and along a long corridor and through another huge door and into a gigantic room. And at the end of the gigantic room sat the king, crying his eyes out. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. I have arrested this person for a most serious crime. What a crime? Well, she smiled at me. She did what? She smiled at me, repeated the soldier.
But why is smiling not allowed?
Laughed Little Miss Sunshine. She laughed at me.
Why not?
She chuckled. She chuckled at me. Little Miss Sunshine giggled. She giggled, went the king, and he burst into tears.
But
again.
why are these things not allowed?
Asked Little Miss Sunshine. Because this is Miseryland, and they've never been allowed. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, I was so unhappy before you arrived, but now I'm twice as unhappy. Little Miss Sunshine looked at him.
But wouldn't you like to be happy?
She asked. Well, of course I would, said the king. But how can I be? I mean, this is Miseryland. Little Miss Sunshine thought.
Come with me.
She said. You can't talk to me like that, sniffed the king.
Ah, don't be silly. Come on.
She replied, and she led him across the gigantic room and through the huge door to where her car was parked.
Get in.
She said. Little Miss Sunshine drove the crying king back to the large notice.
Dry your eyes.
And then, from her handbag, she produced a large pen. 5 minutes later, she'd finished.
There. Now you can be happy.
Do you know what it said now?
You are now entering Laughterland. Smiling, laughing, chuckling, giggling permitted by order of the king.
But, I don't know how to be happy. I mean, I've never tried it.
Nonsense. It's really very easy. Just you do this.
And she smiled a big smile. The king tried a smile.
Not bad. Try this.
And she gave a little chuckle. And the king tried a little chuckle.
Getting better.
Then she giggled. And the king tried a giggle.
You've got it.
Then she laughed. So I have. He laughed. Yes. Now, you see, now I'm the king of Laughterland. As little Miss Sunshine arrived home, there was Mr. Happy out for an evening stroll. Hello, he grinned. Where have you been?
Miseryland.
She replied. Miseryland? I didn't know there was such a place.
Well, actually, there isn't.
Oh, I see.